Can somebody reply if you can hear me well? You can also say where you are, which country you are in. So, okay, let's begin. We are 1 minute past. Okay, I hear you. Yes, okay. I'm just moving the screen because it's kind of white. I cannot really read. Okay, guys, so we are 1 minute past the due time. So I guess maybe some other guys will join when they join. Maybe some guys a little bit late. So my name is Yuri Zaritsky. So as you can guess, I have Russian origins. I was born in Ukraine. Mama Ukrainian and Papa Russian. So I'm a kind of mix. And then my parents moved to France. So they stayed there, and I migrated myself to Malaysia. So I stay in Malaysia now for 15-20 years now. I don't even remember, probably 18 years, something like that. So I'm in love with Asia, so I stay here now. So you guys can send a message, tell me where you are from. It would be interesting to know which countries are present today. Would be interested to know statistically who is listening from where you are. You know, it would be a good thing. So the subject of today. So we have quite a list of things to go through. So I will try to do my best to follow the plan. Sometimes I start to deviate, but I always try to catch myself and put myself on track. But I do not mind to deviate sometime. If you have some questions, if they are not too big to develop, I will deviate, and you know, it will be. It's always better to be interactive, right? It's much better than, you know, somebody blah 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 and you cannot say anything. You just absorb. So let's make it as interactive as possible. So I will tell you exactly the 15 points. I prepared 15 points to go through. We will see if we have time to do them. Hopefully we will. So for each point you will have occasion to throw some questions at me. I will regularly read you guys to see if you follow up well, if you understand, if you agree, etc., and see how it goes from now. Yeah. So where we are from: USA, India, Serbia, USA. Wow. Okay. So welcome, guys. So let's go. So what we're gonna do today. So point number one, I would like to talk about sleeping cycles and sleeping patterns. That is of a general behavior that we adopt on a daily basis, and what kind of quality of sleep that we allow ourselves to have, and how to have it, you know, and how does it affect the practice. Then point number two, we will talk about the memory in general and dream recall, and how does it affect the practice, and why we need to work on memory in the first place. Then point number three, we will talk about intention and focus. So that is one of the main subjects that come up very often. So I would like to really insist on those two words: what is intention and what is focus, how does it work, etc. Then something that comes back very often on the plate, on the subject of the phase, lucid dreaming, astral projection, out of body, position in bed. So nothing mystical there, but I would like to give you some pointers, something practical for you to use, etc. And point number five, what is the nature of techniques, and also talk about what are the different approaches, so you don't confuse the techniques and the approaches, and to get the nature of the technique, exactly how they work and what are they supposed to do. So that is very important. And talk about distractions. Okay, we can discuss, we can agree, we can disagree on it, but I find there is some things that could be more of a distraction, like binaural beats, rather than helpful aids for achieving the state of the phase. Point number 6, we will talk about limiting beliefs, and there is a lot of cloudy things in the subject, and a lot of excuses that we come up with related to the limiting beliefs very often. So let's get it out of the plate. Point number 7, we will talk about the vibrational state and sleep paralysis. So again, it's something that comes up very often on the picture, and it's very cloudy. It's a very cloudy subject in branches with out of body and astral projection, but it doesn't have to be. It's something very clear. So we will talk about that. We will talk about the motivation. So what the motivation means in the practice, how does it help you with the practice, etc. Point number 9, we will talk about the dream-induced lucid dreams importance in the overall practice. So this is something that usually we work with all these reality checks, etc. But you will see that you will have them for free. You don't have to do much. You can work on them as well, but so that is the statistical data that came out recently, thanks to the experimentation that Mikhail Raduga is conducting right now with Elijah Pro project. So that is very important information that came out, and you will be very interested to hear about it. Point number 10, so that one will take a little bit of time, but deepening, maintenance, loss of lucidity, premature awakenings. We will see if we skip that point, because I'll put it, but it's quite a big subject. But let's see. I will maybe touch a few words on it. Extreme catch-up. So this is when the maintenance deepening technique didn't work or didn't have time to do. You already feel like you are going to wake up any second from now on. So what are the extreme techniques? And this is very nice to know. You can extend, you can prolong again your experience. And then what I call recycling techniques that can increase your overall amount of experiences by 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually beginners are a little bit shy about it, but I mean shy, not really shy, but they don't know that they could have done it, and that can increase drastically your overall quantity. Quantity-wise, you will increase your experiences tremendously with this. Then point number 13, internal dialogue. How does it work? How does it affect your intention? And how does it helps you or not in your general navigation in the dream state? And something that very interesting to practice, thinking in images. So that's a technique that can help you to overcome the too much of internal blah blah blah, and then something that I call personally hybrid states. So I do not have really statistical data to support it, but I tend to think, and you will see how it is related with the dream-induced lucid dreams that we have for free in the overall practice. And I think this is due to the what I would call hybrid states that we can create in our practice. And then what I call coming out from the theater state. So that is something where you work on your overall quality of awareness in your daily life. Rather than being victim of the situations, you become more you will gain control over the situations. And this is exactly what you need in the dreaming practice as well. So not only you gain in the waking life, but you will your waking life becomes a little bit like a training ground for your real fight in the face. Fight again. Okay, so how about that, guys? We follow up on the 15 points. Are you happy with this? How does it sound? Maybe somebody can say, somebody posted a message. had RD often years ago, then lost disability. To get back, nothing worked. Okay, Tad, of course, you know, I have been learning myself for many years. I have a very stubborn nature, so I usually go against many advices. But you know, it always helps to go to a good practitioner who knows already all the culprits and what is good and what is bad in terms of practice. So it's always good to find a teacher who can teach you properly what you have to do. So within the project Elijah, there is a bunch of very experienced guys where you can learn like today, but there is many other ones. And Michael doing some workshops as well. I do as well. So you can always learn like this. You can learn through books. There is The Face, the book of Mikhail Raduga, which is, you know, like a Bible almost. There is so many things inside. But for example, for the indirect technique, you have about 10 pages to read. It's somewhere at the beginning of the book, I think page 9 or 11 onwards. You have a look. If you can be a good student, you read just that, but you need to be a good student, you know. So this is the thing. For example, what that I encounter very often with my apprentices is the guy who is listening carefully, who can be a good student, who picks up all the very important informations that are being delivered. You know, sometimes the choice of words is not innocent. It's very important. So when I choose my words, it's not a random thing. They're carefully thought about, etc. And all the words that we're gonna go through today, the 15 aspects, they're all important. So they're all part of the practice. But for you, Ted, I would suggest in emergency case, pick up The Face manual of Mikhail Raduga, and you have only 10 pages to read and to execute. And there you go. You know, indirect method. It's very easy, and you can make 5 attempts in one morning. And there you go. So. Randolph, the last time I tried doing the technique, which was more than a month ago, I woke up after food. Okay, Randolph, I will need to focus on the 15 points today. So if you guys can, let's try to stay on the path of today with the objectives that we have put. So what we will need is to talk about the subjects that we have done, that we have fixed in front of us. Otherwise, we will deviate. You know, I know you guys have a lot of personal things that you would like to manage. Let's see if let's try to accomplish the 15 points maybe in 1 hour. We already have eaten 15 minutes, and then we have another 15 minutes. And then if you have some other questions, I will go through. So I will Randolph, I will try to come back to you if I can. Okay. So point number 1: sleeping cycles, and why we need to why we should work on this, and what are the sleeping patterns. So you know, we have the, if you research it, you know, we have the sleeping cycles. We have non-REM 1, non-REM 2, 3, and then we have the REM, and then you come back with non-REM 3, 2, 1. But so these sleeping cycles goes for about 1 hour 20, 1 hour 30, 1 hour 40, depending on each person. And this cycle will repeat every 1 hour and a half. So in about 6 hours, you will do probably about 4 cycles of such non-REM 1, 2, 3, REM, etc. What you need to remember, it's not important what is going on there, but what you need to know about it is that the first part of the night is when we sleep deeply. So because we sleep deeply, it is a little bit more difficult to get the awareness in the dream state. Your body wants to go to the deep stages of sleep. The awareness is not easy to get with you, etc. So what, and the memory process will be maybe not as good, and the length of the dreams will not be as long as well. The story about dreams is that they can happen in any time of the sleeping cycle, not only in the REM, but usually they are more to the REM state, and rather than the other ones. And the REM period of time is much shorter at the beginning of the night. And as the night is progressing, the REM period of time is increasing. So when you know this, if, for example, you sleep only 5 hours per night or 6 hours per night, your body has no time to rest, etc. So by experience, and you will hear the same thing from many other teachers, is that when you see somebody who comes to learn and who sleeps only 5-6 hours, we already know that we will have difficulty with such a student, because just the body wants to fall asleep. You will not be capable to wake up often enough to actually practice, or maybe you will just sleep straight away the whole night, and there will be no occasion for you to practice at all. So, and on the opposite side, when you have somebody who comes and says, "Oh, I sleep 9 hours," wow, so that is a very good basis. Somebody who sleep 9 hours, I mean, 8 hours is good. 9 hours is gold. If the guy sleep 10 hours, it's a baby gold. It's really, really amazing. I mean, it's a very good basis for you to work with the phase, lucid dreaming, astral projection, etc. It's much more easier when you sleep 9 hours or 10 hours. So what we want to do is to work on the second part of the night. So if you sleep 9 hours, you sleep for 6 hours, we wake up, the procedure, you guys know, I will not go through all of this, you know it already, and then you go back to sleep, and you start to practice. So one of the first things that you need to improve is your sleeping time. If you only sleep 5 hours, you need definitely increase it to at least 7 hours, even for your health. Your body rejuvenates when you sleep. So if you sleep short period of time, you don't have time to rejuvenate that way. So how to increase food can be a culprit of it, but in general, habit can be one culprit there. If you are used to sleep 5 hours because of your constraints, because of the time you go to sleep in the evening, you just get used to it, and you will go on like that. But for example, if you move to another country and you need to adjust with the sun and day and night, it takes you about 1 week to get adjusted, right? For those who have traveled, if you remember that. So about 1 week you start to adjust. So what I propose is every day start to go to sleep earlier, especially if you have to wake up in the morning at the same time, 7 o'clock in the morning, to go to work. So you cannot sleep longer. So the only way to increase your time is to go to sleep earlier. So of course, get yourself away from bright lights, screens, telephone, all that, just drop it, get away, if you have TV, don't watch it too close, or put the brightness down, remove the strong lights, etc. Put yourself to, natural way to go to sleep. And every day try to increase. You went to sleep every day by 12, go to sleep, 11:30, and then the next day 11:15, so slowly you move to your 8-9 hours or something like this. And that will be a very strong basis, and you will see that even just doing this, you will start to remember your dreams better, just by increasing the time of sleep. You will remember more dreams, and because you remember them, you can work on them. You see, instead of sleeping 5 hours and saying in the morning, "Oh, I don't remember anything." Well, of course, Deep sleep, memory not so good, not so much awareness, no juice, you know. Okay, so you guys understand so far? Everything is okay? Yes, Dad. Follow my advice. Trust me, that's the good stuff. You have only 10 pages to read, so really, you have no excuse of not doing it. All right, Tonya, understand. All right. So, so please increase your time of sleep. If it's not, if it's below 7 hours, definitely increase. Okay. All right. So something that I already mentioned now, memory and dream recall and technical dream journal that can help you with your overall practice. So you see, the memory, we already spoke about the memory. So one way is to increase your time of sleep. You will remember better those experiences towards the morning. But you will also have this accumulation effect, because you start to sleep long time. You will be capable to actually sleep long time. You see, so you over, even in the middle of the night, you will start actually to remember more dreams. While sleeping 5 hours, at 4 o'clock in the morning, you can't remember anything. You wake up and you don't remember. But when you start to sleep 9 hours or 8 hours, even 4 o'clock in the morning, you will remember more dreams, because you get the momentum from the other days of that sleep that it was not eaten up. You know, you have enough of sleep, enough of rest, so you get the impact on the second night because of the first night. You see. Okay, so now the dream memory. So this is something interesting that so you already heard about it. You know, if you maintain dream journal, the moment you start writing up your dreams in it, dreams with awareness or dreams without awareness, phase experiences, astral projection, etc. But it doesn't matter if it's even a regular dream without awareness, without lucidity. What you want to work is on the memory, on you capable to remember whatever the experience, with awareness or without awareness. So just that, more experiences. So you already heard about it. You write down the experiences in the dream journal, and within 1 week, so it doesn't take long time. So that's the good news, is that within 1 week you start to remember more of them with more details. They become more colorful. So I'm just telling you something on top of it to help you to motivate you with the practice of the dream journaling. So this is how it works. I think. So I got it from it was a scientific. It was scientifically published about the dream memory and the waking memories, and apparently the dream memories and the waking memories are not exactly in the same place in our brain. So if we consider this to be recorded in our brain, so it's not the same places. So usually we do not confuse waking experiences with dreaming experiences. Very rare. It happens, but it's very rare. So usually it's two different regions. So what we need to do is the moment you start to remember a dream, so you record a dream. So how I perceive it is that when you start to remember it again in the morning, you are firing up the neural patterns that reach out to that memory region in the brain. A little bit like a hard disk. You go to the library, you say, oh, I have this, this movie, and you connect to that movie. So and the more so we didn't know about it. So that's another thing, is that another belief we had the wrong belief as a humanity, is that kids, when they grow at certain age, the brain is formed and it doesn't move anymore. It's only the new neurons will fire to one way or another, but there is no new neural pathways created. So that was completely wrong. We know now that with the stimuli, we do create new neural pathways, new way of thinking, etc., etc. So how is it related to the memory that I'm talking about? Is that when you start to remember about one particular dream, is that you are firing up that through that pathway the juice, the electricity to to excite the right neurons to connect to the memory, to the dreaming memory region in your brain. So, and the more you do it, the more electricity going there, then instead of going this and this way, the brain decides, hey, the guy, me, he's always trying to connect to that region. Let's create a highway. So instead of passing through 15 neurons, let's create a direct pathway now to that neuron that the guy wants, you know. So that's what I say also to my math students. I teach maths, is that when you practice calculus every day, you will improve on calculus. You will become better. It's not, there is nobody bad in calculus. It's only guy who never practiced calculus. So I tell the guys, remove your calculator and start to calculate with your head, and you will see within a month you will be capable to calculate because of neuroplasticity. So that's one way. So you record your dream in your dream journal, that story, and then you read it again and read it again, and you put yourself. So there's another trick to that, is when you read it, when you write it, all the details, whatever the detail you have, the colors, the feelings, the details, who you met, the names, everything, because every single detail is your pathway to the memory that you are looking for. Okay. Okay, I said technical dream journal, so I don't want to dive into the technicality of it because it's already done by Mikhail Raduga. You can look inside his book, his videos, how to maintain dream journal technically, not just a story, but technically. You know, write down your errors, etc. You know, so that's another very important point for you to progress personally. You don't need a guru to tell you you did this wrong or you did that wrong. You need only yourself, and you need honestly write down what you are doing. Because the problem, if you don't do that, is after 1 week you say, oh, it's been 1 week, I didn't have the phase, out of body experience. I mean, I'm talking by experience, I do it myself, and what I'm saying here, it's not you, it's me, but I'm sure some of you do the same. So, and then I'm like, hey, what have I done the last week for it? Nothing. So if I did nothing, then you see what I mean. And then, for example, I do some errors. So again, didn't remember plan of action. Again, didn't remember plan of action. What's going on? Aren't you supposed to remind yourself before you go to sleep? Aren't you supposed to remind about it when you wake back to bed or wake up, etc.? And then you didn't do it. But you see, after 1 week or 2 weeks, if you do not put it in your record, you can't remember what happened 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago. But if you write down technically in your dream journal, you will see what errors you keep doing, repeating. It's becoming like a mirror to yourself, you see. So dream journal, not only to connect to your memories and pump up your dream memory, but also to progress without the help of anybody. Of course, you need to know the technical parts, otherwise you don't know what errors you do. But when even when you know them, you cannot progress if you do not monitor yourself in an honest, precise way. So technical dream journal is very important for that. Okay, I see some guys are popping up with some smiling face. This is me. Yeah. Is taken. Okay, Miran, you are talking a language I am not aware of, or is it tricky? Okay, that's it. I guess you're trying to say tricky in English, but it's just spelling is tricky to me. Okay, moving forward, please don't hesitate to interrupt me. You have the keyboard to interrupt me. You hear me well? Everything is okay, yeah? So now very interesting, intention and focus, overall practice and difficult separation. So here I will tell something that I have not done before, but I need to focus myself a bit to do it well. So first, let's talk about intention and focus. Okay, so intention, you know, you can achieve results just to put intention could be already achieving results. Very good example of it is all the teachers know about it. You put 100 people who never heard about the phase, lucid dreaming, out of body. You just explain to them that it's possible. You explain to them how it works. Out of 100, no technique, nothing has been explained. You just put in them that idea, and that idea will be enough. You tell them, for example, like Carlos Castaneda, find your hands, you know, and realize it's a dream. You know, just this. No fancy techniques. Just this, and you will see that out of 100, you will have results. What is that? It's you have the possibility of doing something, and just this to record inside your mind, to you know, to have the intention to have the experience, can provoke the experience. But intention is not only in that simple way. If you didn't have the intention to if your intention, for example, was not properly done during your wake back to bed, for example, for the indirect, when you wake up and you go to sleep and you know, drowsily fall asleep, okay, let's do some technique, and you wake up 9 o'clock in the morning and nothing happened. So that's a poor intention there. You know, you didn't put enough of intent, enough of juice, enough of power, enough of energy into what you want to do. So that's another thing. Another thing is the guy who says, "Oh, I'm trying everything. It's been a year. Exactly. No, what are you doing every day? You know, what is your intention? What intention in what? What is, you know? You have to be very precise. So there we come to focus. So you are very lucky. You come to the right place. It's not because I'm here, but because what the path that Mikhail Raduga has already put. I have studied many other guys, and I can tell you this is the stuff that really works. Plus, you have other instructors who are in here. Focus in here. Do not lose your focus with the one that I'm not judging, and I'm not having any you know doors closed in my mind. I'm always open. I'm always listening, you know, but I'm there to challenge. I'm always challenging whatever information that is given to me. I will challenge it, you know. But coming back to the focus and the cloudy thing that is that can come very often is especially in the fields of astral projection and out of body experience. There are a lot of beliefs, a lot of things, you know. I just give you one example, just, you know, just top of my head. Guys want to work on energy, chakra, you know, chi energy, etc., you know, and to be worthy of the experience. Well, you come to communities of lucid dreamers or guys who practice the phase. They don't care about these things, and they could be much more successful. They have much more experiences than the guy who is still waiting for the sleep paralysis. So we're going to talk about it in a short while. Big error, you know, vibrations. So no, you, if you don't know the proper ways and what is the nature of vibrations, you know, sleep paralysis, then you are in a cloudy thing. So this is another thing. Focus on one teaching in the first place. It doesn't mean that you have to stick to that one and not explore anything else. But for you to learn properly, the phase, focus on it. Don't do anything else for a month or two. You know, even 1 week will be enough for you to have your, if you are a complete novice, no experience whatsoever. It took me 5 days to achieve it on my own without any teacher. Means I was not a bad student in school. I was not the first one, but probably I was careful enough to read it and, you know, achieve it on my own. But so focus, put your intent on you are lucky to be here in the project of Elijah with Mikhail Raduga and all the instructors. Focus here, and especially if you come from those guys, even in lucid dreaming groups, and you know, there's a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of it. But especially in out of body and astral projection groups, there are a lot of misunderstandings. So please focus, get your results, and then you can challenge it. You know, you don't need to take my word for it. Get your techniques done, working, understand it, and it doesn't take you years. You see, you don't need to rise your chi or your chakra or balance your chakras to achieve the results. You can have results tonight, not tomorrow. You know, so you know, when the guys are telling you're gonna have it in 10 years time, you know, it's you can run it for your life. So yeah, focus and intent in this in that. So that is one aspect of it. Focus on one teaching without getting polluted by other information. You know, what should I do if my chakras are blue? You know, I mean, I'm just joking there, you know. Another thing about the intent, we will talk about it in a short while in the, or maybe I'll put it when we will talk about internal dialogue, I will talk about the intent. So let's do it that way. Any questions so far? Oh, I have been experiencing the same problem. That means problem is not having enough intention. Intent is your that's the energy the guys are probably talking about. That's the one. Agree, we have not strong enough will. Yes, yeah, we get diverted, you know. What not, you focus on what you want to achieve. No problem, as long as we talk about on the house we are united. Yeah, I wish we get united but okay, you know, everyone practice in their own way. What is the best way to practice, simulate indirect technique to get a better chance of achieving the phase? What is the best way to practice indirect technique? Randolph, the best way to practice indirect technique is gonna be sounding stupid and like, you know, this teacher is so strict, you know. The best way of practicing indirect technique is to practice it. But okay, I'm gonna be nice and I tell you what I mean by that. Yes, it sounds strict, but the meaning of it is very calculative. It's like a sportsman. The more attempts you have done, the more chances you run to have a success. You see? So if you didn't do it or you did it partially, read those 10 pages I said in the book of Mikhail Raduga. If you do it correctly, the 1 minute, the basic one, without any fancy adaptation of the basic algorithm, you do it 10 times, you should have success. And then as time progresses, you will have, you know, out of 10 2, out of 10 3, you know, and then it fluctuates depending on how you will progress. But out of 10, you should have 1. And in 1 morning, you can achieve 5 attempts quite easily. If you sleep 8-9 hours, you should be attempting about 5-6 times easily. Unless you really have short sleeps, you can do 10, you know, but it's usually, you know, you sleep half an hour and then you have one awakening 20 minutes, another awakening half an hour. So, you know, in 2-3 hours, you can achieve 5-6 times easily. Mr. Oatmeal, Yuri, my lucid dreams are always destroy my phase attempts. What could I do to solve it? My lucid dreams are always destroy my phase attempts. What could I do to solve it? Okay, you are putting in opposition lucid dreams and the phase. It is not dreams, just dreams. You're talking about dreams or lucid dreams. Okay, what okay, what we call the phase, or funny nickname. What we call phase is dreaming with awareness, with lucidity. So you must, like the definition of lucid dreaming, you know that you are dreaming. The way you achieve it doesn't matter. How you call it, it doesn't matter. You call it out-of-body experience or lucid dreaming, techniques are the same, hence the state is the same. Hence, I don't understand what you mean by lucid dreams. Then you say dreams, and then nonsense dreams. Okay, dreams can be anything. What counts is for you to be aware in the dreams. I wouldn't judge the dreams to be nonsense or sense. Dreams can be many things. I forgot, there was this philosopher who was saying that, I forgot how he said it so beautifully. He said dreams are like, it's like, appetizer, the main dish, the dessert, and digestive. It's a combination of many things. Sometimes you can affect it from the day. So, all right, let's move forward. Position in bed. So that's something that comes back quite often. Position in bed. So just to make a small joke about it, I actually, experiment. I told you I like to challenge. So I experimented, to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west, in this position, in that position. Well, I achieved it in any position, in any direction, and even the moon phases didn't stop me. So, I mean, I joke about it, but it doesn't matter, north, south, west, west side, east side. It doesn't matter what side you sleep on your bed. It does not matter. Maybe you go to some out of body experience or astral projection, they will tell you sleep to the north or something like that. No, it's okay. You can sleep in any side, and the earth wobbles. So you actually, and even north sometimes changes a bit, I heard, by a few degrees. So no, it doesn't matter what side, but okay, jokes apart. Jokes apart, one important thing that I would like to mention is, for example, when you want to practice direct method, wild wake-induced lucid dreams, or the direct from waking to sleeping, or even in indirect, when you practice upon awakening, your position can affect you, but not in the position, not in terms of south or north. Is that your comfort zone can affect you. So let's say you practice upon awakening. So what I advise is, before you fall asleep, so when you come back to bed with intention to practice upon awakening, put yourself in a position in which you want to, in which you will feel comfortable when you wake up. Because if you don't, you will want to move, maybe you squeeze your eye, your nose can't breathe anymore, so or you have a back pain because you stretch too much, so you will have to adjust yourself. So when you lay down in bed with intention to practice upon awakening, think about, is this position gonna be good enough for half an hour for me to have an awakening inside my body? You never know where you are upon awakening. Are you still in your body or still in the dreaming body? But you don't want to wake up with completely smashed or can't breathe. So usually what I do is, everything that is face, I leave it quite free, or not too much pressure. Everything that is here, and you open the breast, so don't squash anything like this. Of course, hands, don't put too much weight on it. If you have lower back pain, you can put some pillows. Don't hesitate to have more than one pillow in your life, 3-4 pillow. Elevating your knees, it helps a lot on the lower back pain, especially guys who are a little bit more agey or over a certain age start to have lower back pain. So it's very easy to adjust. Even putting a pillow between the two knees can help a lot. So comfort, the more comfy you are, the better, because don't forget, your body needs to go back to sleep or go to sleep at all. That's how you practice the face. Your body is sleeping. So if you can't let your body fall asleep, you will fail, because you need to adjust, you need to scratch, Okay, but of course you know that even if you have scratched and moved, you still practice, because it could be a false awakening, false feeling of numb hand, so you still practice. Don't forget that. Huh? But yeah, so you adjust yourself to be as comfortable as possible. Little trick. For example, you can adapt less comfortable position if you feel very sleepy, for example, for the direct approach, or you adopt a more comfy position laying down, where if you feel like you are very awakened. For example, if you sit down like this, like I am right now, or maybe like semi-reclined position, what happens is our our jaw relaxes and our mouth opens, and that is the last muscle that actually relaxes to trick your body. And I mean, when your body falls asleep, your jaw will relax, will fall down, and then your mouth will become dry. So that can be a problem. And also maybe these muscles will fall, and maybe you start to snore. Snoring can wake you up as well, but it can be helpful. You can play with it, with snoring. Sometimes I play with snoring. Snoring wakes me up. It's a bit like an anchor, Okay, depends. So, but the trick about the jaw is that sometimes too much tension here and there, and especially the jaw, is the last muscle that relaxes. So there's one little trick: put a pillow and relax your jaw. So that is one of the tricks that you can send as a message to your body to tell, oh, I am falling asleep, but you are still, kind of awakened. So relax your jaw. It will be much more easier to go to the in-between state, and it will not dry out your mouth because you have a pillow. So when your jaw drops, it will not open. You will still be sticking with the lips. So anytime when I don't practice so much in a reclined position. I'm a light sleeper. I'm a light sleeper. I guess I like to sleep, so I like it, in bed, etc. But I used to practice a lot in a semi-recline, but I tend to stay awake too long and don't fall asleep easily, even though I'm a light sleeper most of the time. But if you do, the pillow, nice trick. Okay, some questions. Why must sleep paralysis decrease? Miran, we're going to talk about sleep paralysis in a very short time. I got results by the time without the practical alarm. What is the strategy I can use to have effective effects to get a better chance of achieving the phase while using the practical alarm clock? Okay, and that's the problem. Okay, the alarm clock. Okay, the alarm clock can be used, or some sound files. Personally, I don't like them because they disturb me, and they can never be fully right for the awakenings. But it's a very good question. But for example, for some guys, I have one student like this right now. The guy is a young guy. He sleeps 6 hours. He sleeps 9 hours. The guy sleeps a lot. He sleeps 6 hours. He wakes up, he goes around. Even he goes around for half an hour. Usually I tell them, okay, do 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. He goes half an hour, goes back to sleep, sleeps one short 3 hours. He cannot capture the awakenings. So he cannot work on indirect technique. Very difficult. So some guys use alarms to ring, every half an hour, every 40 minutes, every 15 minutes. So you go back to sleep 6 hours, And then if you cannot capture your natural awakenings to practice indirect technique, some guys use alarms, but the way of doing them is that you use alarms that you don't need to switch off. So alarm rings, and in this I have, it's called the extreme alarm, for example, does that, and you can tell the extreme alarm to go off after 2 seconds, for example, or 3 seconds. So it will wake you up, you practice, and you don't need to touch, you don't need to touch your alarm, you don't need to move, it will go off on its own. So it just wakes you up and you start to practice, you go to sleep, then 20 minutes later it will wake you up again, etc. So I don't know, some guys because they can't capture the natural awakening, so that's the only way for them to do it. They have success. I try to be as natural as possible for this on my, but if you can't, you know, if you are in the case like the guy I'm talking about, then there you go, do it that way, try. But I like it natural, you know, natural sleep, sleeping like a baby, feeling drowsy, nothing is disturbing me, you know, no strange sound that I'm expecting. No, I mean, no disturbing sound, because, you know, if I hear the alarm, it could be a false alarm too, but because I know I put the alarm, how do I make a distinction? That's why, okay, so we talk about the disturbances in a short while. What is strategy you recommend? Wait, I have I have that is that I have a sleeping problem. Possible it is affecting my LD misfortune. Tad, we just talked about sleeping patterns. You know, you need to settle it up. You need to sleep like a baby. You sleep like a baby, you're gonna have very good results. Comfort of sleep, make it, you know. I have discovered something. Foods rich in choline, or you can even take choline supplements, and it's a building proteins for many organs in the body, and you have it in eggs, soya, banana, some meat, salmon, and I think some nuts or something like that. But no, banana, soya, meats have it, and it becomes also a neurotransmitter. It's also affecting the memory. So research it. Choline, CHOLINE. So you don't need to take supplements. You can just take the foods that have it, or you can take supplements if you don't have the chance to eat those foods. So it could be that, you know, that is I mean, look, there was a video that came up from Mikhail Raduga recently for the diet, and diet can affect your sleep. Watch that video. It just came out, like, I think months ago. So Tadia, work on it. Randolph, what is the strategy you recommend to be able to capture the natural awakenings? When I got the results back in 2014, I got the awakenings. But the strategy is that you start to capture them. When you begin, you have never done it. Definitely, it's a challenge for you to wake up and realize that you awaken, and proceed to some action. Definitely, it's a challenge, because your habit up until before you start practicing it was and still is wake up, scratch your nose, and start to sleep again. So if you didn't put intention, you didn't wake up, walk around, bang it into your mind nicely, that now you're gonna wake up and do something, you might run into one night where you thought you programmed your intent well, you thought, but the result in the morning is 0 attempts. You still didn't practice anything. You know, you didn't capture. But you need to really do it, you know, and without getting completely psychopathic about it. You know, the good frequency is 3 times per week for the indirect, 3-4 times. Don't do it every day, because you're gonna eat on your psychological psychological reservoir. You know, doing something every day, sometimes it depends on people. It's not a golden rule, but it's quite, you know, it's quite general. You do it every day. I mean, a person does it every day. You might be psychologically getting frustrated, especially if you don't have results, etc. So 3-4 times, but do it, you know, with good intent. You know, make it very clear for yourself. Okay, let's move to the next point. I will read the comments a little bit later, so we move forward. Okay, the nature of techniques. What techniques are? Techniques, so listen to that one carefully. Techniques, a technique is a detector. It's not a magic wand to bring you to the state, even though the techniques have that hypnotizing effect that can bring you more to the in-between state. Because you are focusing on one action, let's say phantom movement, or visualizing yourself swimming, or riding a horse, or focusing on the sounds, you know, and you are in one direction only. So and there's even, you know, a descriptive like that, to become the technique. So it's just words, but you know, what does it mean to become the phantom movement? You know, what does it mean to become like a radar listening? You know, even you attempt to teleport somewhere, you know, swimming, you know, you can indulge so strongly and so quickly upon awakening into you swimming in the water, you know, that kind. But why so because you focus on each so much that it has hypnotizing effect on you. But the main the main objective of the technique is to tell you where you are. So if you are listening to the sounds, and you have somebody coming and tell you, Tad or Randolph, don't do astral projection, this is where you stand up, because nobody is supposed to come and talk to you 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning. So you see, or if you are already swimming, then you don't need to do any separation there. You don't need to, I mean, separation is not a proper word as well. There is no such thing as a separation, actually. So it's a detector. When you detect your another hand, you woke up with the body imagery of your hands in a certain position, but you detect that you managed to create another hands in another pair of hand, or one hand moving somewhere else. That's a result. The detector is telling you that now you have a dream body, if you want to call it that way, and it's time to get up. If you are hearing somebody talking to you, it's time to get up. You see, so it's very important to I find it's very helpful to look at it that way, rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to do some kind of technique that is going to do some magic for my life, is going to bring me to the magic world. You know, look at it very, very simply. It's going to tell you where you are. Is it a dream state? Is it an awakening state? So when it's working, the detector is positive, you get up. So the correct way to say is to get up, is not to separate, is to get up. And the approach, so that is, the approaches are not a technique. The approach is you have the approach of entrainment during the day, like for example repeating reality checks, entrainment of your subconscious mind or unconscious, or whatever you want to call it, and to create that momentum, so that when you are in the dream state, you start to perform them as well. They are positive, and you have a dream induced lucid dream, or spontaneous experience of lucidity awareness within the dream state. And then you have the direct one. You are awakened, and you go from waking state to sleeping state, or it's also called wild in the WILD, wake induced lucid dream, in the lucid dreaming community. So that's another approach. So you approach it from within the dream, you approach it from waking state, and then you can approach it upon awakening. So sorry, I'm confusing hands left and right. So upon awakening, so you just wake up and you start to perform techniques. So you have three approaches: waking to sleeping, coming out from sleeping and trying to go back to sleep, or you are within the sleep, within the dream state, and you realize that you are in the dream state. So those are approaches. So it's not the technique. So for example, when you read on internet wild technique, it's not a technique, it's an approach. You see, so you need to know what approach you are using. So for the beginners, of course, it's much easier to start with indirect approach, not technique, approach, indirect approach, rather than the direct approach. Okay. So I want you to, so that you know the difference. What is approach? What is technique? And techniques, there are hundreds of them, and you can invent your own technique. You know. Okay. I want to move a little bit by the points. Okay. So why did I say that binaural beats? Why I don't like them personally, and anything else that disturbs? Because the techniques are the detectors, and for example, sounds is one of the ways to detect that you are in the dream state. So if you have binaural beats in your head upon awakening, imagine how disturbing that is to hear that somebody opened the door, or somebody's Yuri, somebody is that, this kind of thing. Somebody is maybe talking very, very mildly, sitting on your bed, scaring your shit out of you if you hear it. But because of this nang 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 bam 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 bam, you can't even detect it. It's very disturbing. And when you are in the dream state, when you are in the phase, talking to someone, riding a dragon, and sometimes you can have the feedback of the physical body in the phase. So you have double stimuli. You have the stimuli from the environment where you are, and at the same time, ding 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 ding, while you are trying to have a conversation with somebody. How disturbing that is. So I know for sure the guys who are using binaural beats definitely are beginners, because the guy who have a lot of experience, he will not bother about putting such a disturbing thing inside the ears to disturb them to detect where you are. Sometimes you have a slamming door, sometimes you have a motorbike passing by next to your bed. So how are you gonna hear it if you have nang 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 in your ears? It's very clear. It's not it's not a good technology for me, my opinion. Okay. You can have yours, but take it or leave it. Yeah. So let's move forward a bit. Okay, limiting beliefs and the obscuring effect and excuses. Okay, so so that is a little bit of if you come especially from some fields where there's a lot of mysticism, etc., like I was talking about, the energies, etc., pay very close attention. In the teaching spectrum of what you are learning here, that in where you can have very clear results, very good results, there are no such things. So if you have them in your system because you have passed by some guy who told you so, that you have to meditate for 10 years before you have your first astral projection, or before your chi start to rise up, or maybe the guy told you don't do it, it's a devilish practice or something like that, or maybe your priest in the church told you don't do it, so I say we are all when we go to the toilet, we are all the same. We do the same push there. So there is no guy who is gonna tell me what I'm supposed to do, not supposed to do. The only guy who is taking decision in my life is myself. So I'm very anarchist. I'm very provocative, and but that's the challenge. That's the challenge for any information that comes in into me. But that always helped me to break all the limiting beliefs, you know, and the astral projection level number 37. You are not good enough. Go to the lower levels, you know, and then I come in and I start to challenge everything and break all the limitations and the truth of it. So if you can break it, if you can change it, if you can morph it, what's the reality of it? What is more real? Your intention that can model your environment, or your idea of how environment is true? Have you thought of it? If you can change it, if your intention can have an action on what is going on around you, was it the truth of it? What is, you see what I mean? So you can always read the story, repeat the story, and think, oh, I have done the story. Or you can always break the story and say, okay, so I'm a much more freer than the story was. I get emotional a bit. I mean, not emotional, pumped up about it, you know, freedom. Okay, let me go on a bit because I'm a little bit constrained by the time. We have 23 minutes left, so I need to go through the subjects. Okay, so somebody was just asking about the vibrational state and sleep paralysis, and I like also to say face your fears and little monsters. For that, it doesn't have to be with monsters and fears, but sometime, you know, because it's a little bit strange. Okay, first of all, sleep paralysis. That is a very natural occurrence. Everyone is getting paralyzed. Otherwise, when you are running in the dream state, you will be running in your bed. So it will not be very comfortable for your wife or your husband sleeping next to you, even for yourself. You don't want to pee in the dream and pee in your bed, right? So muscles are paralyzed. Normally, you don't get that connection, etc. Sometimes you jerk off. I mean, jerk off, jerking your hands, especially when you fall asleep. The paralysis is not in place very well, so you try to catch your bed, you know. But after a while, you get paralyzed. So paralysis is a very natural. It's a natural state of the body. There is nothing mystical about it. It's a scientific understanding already. We know about it. Everything is paralyzed at the muscle level. It is not paralyzed in the neural patterns level up until the muscle. Very interesting point, because if you practice, for example, martial arts or skiing, jumping or something, actually your nervous system is learning the patterns to activate your muscles. But you do not activate your muscles in your bed, but you are learning. And then when you wake up, you become better with skiing, acrobatics, you know, whatever you want to practice. Interesting information there. So sleep paralysis, absolutely no mysticism there. Okay, now the vibrational state. You know, everyone will experience it in their own way, and they will call it. I have experienced vibrations, but there are some common themes of what is recurring things that always come back to the plate to eat as the practice that always repeat themselves. It can be a rushing sensation going upwards from the stomach to the head, or from the feet for some people, from the feet to the head, or the other way around, from the head to the stomach. It can be loud sounds that can be perceived from outside or from inside. Another common theme is the high pitch rising sound. I always compare it to the flash of the camera. The flash goes off and then it's charging, like zzz, and very often people hear the pop So if personally, when I hear that, I stand up. For me, that's a sign. And just recently, you know, it's been years of practice, but I have this rushing sensation going on, and I don't know, stupid me, still didn't put it in my system as this is also a sign that I am in the dream state. You know, even, you know, teachers too make errors. So and that too. Sometimes you can have also like vibration. It can be what we put in the basket of vibration, electrical feeling, very difficult to describe. I have experienced it. It can be for me, it was very pleasant feeling. So it's like my spine, you know. So the guys from out of body immediately, oh, my chi. You know? Yeah, okay, so we all have chi. It's okay, it's fine. Sorry, I make jokes. I'm not criticizing anybody. Yeah? I just make jokes, that's all. But doesn't matter how we call it, chi, prana, whatever, it's there. So it's working. You don't know how the engine works in your car, but you use your car, right? So we can use it. So all of that can be put into the basket of vibrations. Sometimes even the bed can start to shake, you know, etc. I was making theory. It doesn't matter what theory I make, but I was theorizing it. Is a bit, I call it radio theory. So it's and Mikhail Raduga likes to call it phase and phasing. So it's a nice name, like phase of sleep, or where you phase in, you know, phased in waking reality, phase to dreaming reality. And I like to call it shifting from dreaming to waking to dream. So and during that shift, maybe it's you know, it's some brain function, you know, your your brain maybe went to kind of zero reality creating, because your eyes are closed, you're in bed, you know, and you know, the engine starts. So when the engine starts, maybe you start to have this kind of feeling of a vibration. Or maybe I call it shifting from one radio station to another. So when you go from, you know, and I actually experience it that way, and you can experience it that way as well. When you shift from, it's rare. It's rare. With many experiences, I've experienced it in a very rare occasion, where I can hear the highway from my window, and I can hear the highway getting away, and the sounds from the dream state starting to build up. I'm somewhere on the beach. So it's like moving from one radio station to another. And sometime when you are in the middle of the radio station, you know, something is building up. So something like that. So those are the vibrations. But and everything that I just said for the past 3 minutes. So those are the vibrational state in the body, feeling physical. You almost feel them physically, electricity, sounds, you know, all of this. But they're not always there. So the big error in the astral projection groups and out of body experience group, the guys want to get to the vibrational state, increase my vibration, increase my energy. It's not always there. I have thousands of experiences without feeling vibrations at all. And when you have a lot of experiences, you will have a lot of dream induced, you know, you're within the dream. So you don't pass even through these stages. You are already in the dream state. So who cares about the vibrational state? What you need to what you need to focus on is the technical part, the techniques. So I already clarify how I look at the techniques, the detectors. The detector is going to tell you if you are hearing something, if you are feeling something, if you can see something, and vibrations are there or not there. Of course, if you hear if you hear vibrations, I would say stand up. Definitely, you're already there. All right. Let me see some last questions. Maybe I miss one or two. Yuri, forgetting the upon awakening due to dreams is a problem for me. Do you have strategy to realize? So this one I already covered just before. Somebody was asking what is the best way to practice indirect techniques. So the answer is exactly the same. You know how to practice upon awakening. And even somebody was asking about the alarms, how to use the alarms. If you are in difficulty to catch the awakenings, you can use the alarm. When I was about 8, in one of my LDDs, some kind of God told me that everything is true and not true at the same time, and all is energy. 20 years later, I understand what he was telling me. Could it be proof that I was really in some different but reality? Tad, you know, I wouldn't say I'm purely materialistic. I wouldn't say I'm purely, you know, spiritualistic. I'm nobody. I don't want to say one or no. I don't want to take camps, or I don't want to take sides. I don't want to say what is true, what is not true. But I say that everyone's experience is amazing. All the experiences are amazing. The practice of the faith is amazing. But after that, does it matter what I think about your experience? It doesn't matter. What matters is that you explore. You know, you have some evolution. But definitely, I look into the phenomenon. I'm very interested to know. One I explore myself, and the other one I explore the reality. What reality has to offer. Do you always use the same technique, or do you change sometimes? Delphine, Delphine, I change. I change them. I find, for example, I practice for 1 week, and I get kind of bored of it a bit. And while I practice something new, it's kind of I have. It's more easier for me to dive into it. It's not bored, but it's like I don't know how to say. It's difficult to describe. I like it's something new. At the same time, I would think, oh, it's difficult to do something new. But I mean, if it's, for example, I got tired of teleporting to the bathroom, for example. It's a classic, right? Teleport as a first action, wake up and try to teleport to the bathroom. I got tired of it until I couldn't even do it. I started to teleport to horse riding, and then I get back to the bathroom. So you know that, or phantom hand. You know, I did some point phantom head, the head moving. You know, there are many variations. It's fun to do. You know, to change. It's fun to try new things. But of course, phantom movement is one of the favorite. I really like easy. You know, lazy. Within the song, songs, Miran. Yeah, yes, I like songs as well. I sing. I use singing as a way to preserve lucidity. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm a little bit on. Okay, point number 8. We will probably not finish everything today, but that's okay. I can do another day. Motivation goes to achieve. So how motivation works. Number one is you'll be always kind of, you know, as a beginner, of course, even finding yourself for the first time in outside of the body, you know, it's already amazing. But as time progresses, you will see that okay, what did I do? You know, so it's much more interesting. Of course, many different, you know, first 100 experiences, fly, you know, visit some locations, space, dive into the ocean, eat food, sexual experiences, all of that. Yeah, it's all interesting. But after a few hundreds, you will maybe it will start to dull out, depending on the person, you know. So and if you just go and you didn't do anything interesting, or being victim of the situations where you lose lucidity as well, because you know you get indulged into situation rather than being in control of what you want to do. So, and moreover, you don't achieve something. So that's one. You want to achieve something, so that's your motivation for the practice as well. And for the beginners also, and even for myself too, it adds up on the motivation. Why do I do it in the first place? Because I want to do this and that. So it's you know, never been, for example, I don't know, you never flew above the clouds, you know. I was just telling to Andre that I was flying on a dragon last night. You know, I flew already so many times, but it was really just another level of flight. The way I flew, you know, it's important, not just fly, but the way I'm trying to doing some funny things with flight. So motivation to perform, to achieve something, helps you with the practice too, you see, because you have a goal to achieve. So don't forget that. Always have a plan of action, something you want to achieve. Interesting information that came up with, so that's the point number 9. The split between, for a practitioner who is practicing for a long time, what is the split of success as per different types of approaches? And the interesting part that came up with the statistical data, thanks to Mikhail Raduga, one of the last experiences he has done. It was done on a big amount of people, and he categorized if the phase has been achieved in direct, indirect, or spontaneous within the dream. And the funny part is that so surprising part came up is that more than 50%, and if my memory is good, it was to 60-70% were spontaneous experiences. But the spontaneous experiences are not coming on their own. It's when you practice direct or indirect, or maybe you work with your reality checks throughout the day. You know, you work. I even like to call myself a dreamer before anything else. So when you work on all of these things, because you are performing indirect technique, you will have spontaneous experiences even if your indirect attempt has failed. And last night, okay, I managed to stand up, then I didn't manage to I failed. Basically, I failed. It doesn't matter what I have done. And then just a few minutes, I don't know how long, a few minutes, half an hour later, I realized within the dream state that I am in the dream state. So you see, I mean, so you see, so that's the statistical data that is very interesting, and that's very interesting for the beginners, because you must know that even if you are practicing and you failed, you think you have failed, you still run now because you started to practice indirect technique, indirect approach, to have spontaneous experiences anyways. How cool is that? And I never paid attention to these things, but and then I looked at my records and recent records from my students, and some of them they oh, I did no, nothing happened, I fall asleep with intention to perform the next time, and then I realized within a dream that I was talking to the pink elephant, something like that. Okay, guys, we have 6 minutes left. It looks like today was a passionate talk, and you guys have quite a bit of questions. So I will not. So I will just maybe I will just maybe I just cover the point number 10, 11, 12 quickly, or I run through the questions. What do you guys prefer? Of course, we can run a little bit longer. I'm sure Andre will be the manager of our teaching experience, Mr. Andre. I'm sure he will be okay if you do 10 minutes more. So tell me, guys, you want me to run through your questions, or you want me to close up and keep the points to have a little bit more time for the next times? Or you want me to know, or you want me to tell you about the deepening and maintenance, just in a few words, extreme catch-ups in a few words and recycling in a few words. So this is for those who already know how to initiate the phase experience. 10 minutes possible. Okay, so Andrei was first. Deepening. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so you can look into the deepening techniques, you know, the sensorization, etc., all of that. But you will find just like something quick, you know, something quick for you to do and to do not do. So number one, have a plan of action and keep executing your plan of action. Your busyness and your evolution within the environment. When I say evolution, evolving, I mean moving around within the environment, will stick you within the environment. Something contrary to that is stopping in one place. For example, very technical is to talk to somebody, because when you talk to somebody, you don't walk with them and talk with them. Very often you will find somebody sitting, standing, laying down, and you talk to them. So maybe take them by hand and start walking with them while talking with them, you know, instead of staying in one place. So another one that is collapsing the dream state, standing in one place and having your eyes spotted at one spot. You can't do that. It's not phase is not a meditation. You know, it's not if you do that, you will definitely provoke a premature awakening or a dream change, you see. So and when you provoke a dream change, you always run the danger to lose your lucidity awareness in between, no? So you always want to resist the dream change or the collapse of the dream state. So moving around, walking, running, you know, flying. Be careful as well. For example, if you start to do crazy things like, I mean crazy, you know, like for example, something more acrobatic. If you are not used to it, it can affect your senses, and that can also wake you up. And like, you know, do a somersault, for example, a few times. So if you are flying and you start to rotate like this, sky, earth, sky, earth, sky, earth, or if you rotate like this, sky, earth, and wake up, you know. So keep your senses, you know, anchored. You see the like you are used to, and anything that is a little bit more fancy with a little bit more of, you know, giving yourself freedom, I would say take it slowly on those things. Flying should be fine, but without, you know, turning around, salto, pirouettes, you know, not too much acrobatics. Sex. it will end up your experience in many cases. So as a beginner, I would say try to avoid it or do it last. Avoid it at all costs. If you want to have long, interesting journeys at the beginning, avoid it, and learn the techniques of deepening and maintenance. Okay, and before you proceed to this kind of things, excitement, everything to do with excitement, increase of the heartbeat, done. So if your physical body increase the heartbeat, your physical body will wake you up. So you have to be careful. You can get excited, accelerating experience, but sometimes too much of excitement will wake you up, definitely. Okay. Okay. So yeah, and another one is so somebody was talking about singing, and I wanted to talk about it. I have this technique. You know, when you are lucid aware, you can always lose it into some action that takes too much of your person, of your being, or you get involved into something. You know, the war begins, and oh, somebody gonna kill me. You forget. You know, so what I do is I sing either I sing with my mouth, with you know, I vocalize it, and I was, you know, I'm lucid and I laugh about it. So it's a song about being lucid, and I do that. And I could be, you know, doing whatever, and even talking to someone, and maybe I'm singing in my head. I'm lucid, but okay, I don't just sing it for singing. The song has a meaning for me. So my laughter is also kind of a reminder to me that I am lucid in the dream state, and I'm enjoying it. So it's like a feedback on my own. I'm laughing at the whole situation, of how exhilarating the situation is, how grotesque sometimes the situation is. But you need to remind yourself that you are not in a regular dreaming. If you forget it, you will start to do some actions which are not justified with lucidity and awareness. So singing a song is another way to maintain your lucidity level and not indulge into some things that you are not supposed to do or didn't want really to do, but you start doing it against your own will. Okay, and then extreme catch up. So you tried the technique of deepening, you know, touching things or looking at the details or walking around, but you did something wrong, or you stopped, or you know, you did something exciting, and you know, something you start to detect that as if somebody start to switch off the lights, or you cannot look far away, or everything starts to be blurry, you know, and you know by experience, even with a few experiences, if you start to pay attention how the experiences start to end up, you will start to be accustomed. Oh, okay, something is wrong. Okay, I need to deepen it. But you detect, okay, I tried already to do all that I just said. It doesn't work. Still, I feel like it's, you know, you shouldn't think about it, because you think waking up, you're gonna wake up too. So that's another thing not to do. But okay, you are at that point. So something that is something that is fun, actually. It's fun to do. And it's when I first time heard of it, I was like, oh really, you can do that? So I didn't know. It was one of the seminar of Mikhail Raduga, and he was saying, oh, you can catch something in the dream state and bring it to your bed, and stand up with the feeling of that object. So, so the first time I tried, I actually brought a woman from the gym state. So that was the only thing I had in front of me. She was dancing, and I looked at the dance. It was a little bit of a sexy dance, so that attracted my attention. I lost it into that, and I knew, okay, that's too late. So I go and I catch her, and I end up in bed. So that's a funny story to tell now. And the guys will not believe me, but that's the truth. uh, I flew up. So first I was thinking how I'm gonna stand up from the bed with somebody sitting on me. So she was end up on me. But I remember, no, there is no limitation. I flew up from the bed with her, put her aside, and I came out from the house. The guys will say, no, you leave a woman like that. Yes, I did. On that story, yes. I'm not telling you stories there. That's the truth of it. So you can catch an object, you can catch a curtain, you can if you are in a deep space and there is nothing, there is no more anything to catch around, catch your hands, bite your lips, you know, catch your body, you know, catch your nose, anything. And when you come back to the body, you will have the sensation of holding your nose. So that will be your kind of last chance anchor on the dream state. All right. So that's a small trick, but very useful. Okay, somebody post some questions there. Well, what means XD? XD, I don't know. I'm on one, but I don't understand electronic energy and you can get up in with this video podcast on YouTube. Randolph, yes, it will be put in the projects folder in YouTube. It will be there. But I think this video will be uploaded. Yes, it will be uploaded. Okay, continue. So recycling technique. So so that is something that you must know, especially when you start the practice. If you didn't know about it, you will bite your lips for not knowing it. The phase experiences very often do not happen in a singular manner. Very often, more often than not, they are chained one after another. It's not always the case, but very often they are chained after another. But what happens is you have an amazing experience. You did something amazing, and then you have an impression to wake up. Impression. So you can also put it in your system as never trust an awakening. You can always, for example, perform a reality check. My favorite is to close my nostrils. And the way I close them, because I have been digging my nose since my childhood, so my nostrils are almost African now. So I close them from above. Like this, I'm sure that they're completely closed. And you try to inhale. Of course, you can try to put your hands, your fingers through the palm, etc. Try to fly, But mine, just this is enough. It's always working for me. I mean, unless it doesn't. So I always do two, this and try to put my fingers through the palm. So when you think that you woke up, so you must know that there are false awakening. You think it's an awakening, it's not. It's a false awakening. Never trust an awakening. So you collapse, you didn't catch a curtain, you didn't catch an object from the dream state, from the phase. You come back to the bed. Be how to say, like no manners, no no, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Reality check immediately. And actually, what I do is even the techniques. I perform the techniques. Reality check at the end. You think nothing works, you will catch yourself. You will catch yourself. You tried all the techniques. Reality check. Holy ravioli, really? I'm like, really? Tried the phantom, nothing. Rotation, nothing. Okay. Holy ravioli. No. So and very often you have been flying, in space, come back, talk to pink elephant, dream collapse. Okay, but I did many things. Again, oh my God, stand up from the bed and continue again. You see? So this is what I call recycling. You recycle. If you didn't know, and how many times it happened to me, even recently it did, because I forgot to make a reality check. So you practice only to wake up in the morning and understand that you were practicing in another bed, in another house, in your childhood house, and you thought that you are practicing upon awakening, but you didn't wake up in your house where you live. So the reality check could have been done. I mean, you see, so many things can happen. So never trust an awakening. So put it, write it somewhere. Never trust an awakening. You could actually practice, not practice. You woke up, reality check, just that, and see what happens. Okay, so I guess we need to stop it here. So it was just internal dialogue, hybrid states, etc. No big deal. I will be around, so I will put it for the next one. And it's good. It's good. We had a bit of interaction there. I answered some of your questions, guys. So and the more I spend time on it, the better. So no need to rush as well. I know 15 points. It was too many anyway. So I'm happy to spend some time with you guys, and thank you for coming. What you can do as well is when even after this. After this webinar, and some guys who are watching it at a later time, some guys will be coming and watching it when you watch it. So comment under the videos if you have questions. So I will go back on it when I can, and I will reply your questions there. I also have a channel, Lucidity for All, there. You can also post it there, but it's much better to put it here because that video will be under the project Elijah. So it's much better to work in one place rather than running left and right. So if you watch this video and this webinar, if you have questions, put the comments. I will come back and I will reply. I will do my best to reply your questions. Thank you very much for coming today, and I hope to see you soon again. And bring up your friends, your family, and you know, Michael wants to do a revolution, and many of the guys who are in the team, we definitely want to make a revolution. I would love to have this to be part, you know, of general education. And you know, in Malaysia, there is a tribe called Senoi tribe. So they are tribal, they are still in the jungle, and those guys are dreamers. So they sit down with parents and they talk about dreams, and it's part of their education. So you know, so it will be nice. It's a dream. It's a dream. So Mike or me, and then the many other guys, we are not only doing it, you know, just like that. We would like it to be more known. So talk to your family, talk to your friends, bring up, let's grow the English community. Russian community is already quite big, so let's grow the English one as well. So guys, thank you very much. I already spoke too much, 1 hour and 41 minutes. See you soon again. Yuri from Malaysia, Yuri Zaritsky from Malaysia, and see you soon again in the next webinar. And practice, don't forget, practice. The more attempts you do, the more results, and etc. Okay, see you guys. Bye bye. Good night, or have a good day.